I remember the day so clearly. It was an ordinary Tuesday morning when I received the call about my father. I'd just finished my morning coffee when my mother's trembling voice came through the phone. "He's gone," she whispered. "He was just doing what he always did every morning." My father was 82 years old, seemingly healthy, active in his community garden, and had just passed his physical with flying colors 2 weeks prior. But that morning, his simple daily habit, something millions of Americans do every single day, without thinking, silently took his life. As a physician, I'd warned him countless times, "Dad, this habit is putting tremendous strain on your heart." He'd smile and say, "I've been doing this for 60 years, son. I'm still here, aren't I?" But that morning, his luck ran out. What makes this story even more heartbreaking is that I now see patients in my practice every single day doing exactly what my father did. They don't realize they're playing Russian roulette with their health. Some mornings the chamber is empty. Eventually it won't be. I'm Dr. William Bennett. I've been practicing medicine for 63 years now. At 91, many ask why I haven't retired. The answer is simple: I can't. Not while I see so many seniors unknowingly harming themselves with this common morning routine. Not while I know I could have saved my own father if he'd only listened. I still work 3 days a week at my small practice in Vermont. I've treated over 40,000 patients in my lifetime. I've seen medicine change dramatically, some for better, some for worse. But what hasn't changed is how the medical establishment often dismisses the concerns of older adults, or worse, prescribes medications instead of addressing the root causes. Many of my colleagues roll their eyes when I talk about this morning habit. "That's old-fashioned thinking, Bill," they say, but I've watched too many patients deteriorate and too many recover when they finally stop this habit to stay quiet. Let me tell you about Martha. She came to me last year, 79 years old, with severe heart palpitations and chronic fatigue. She'd been to 3 cardiologists who prescribed various medications, but nothing helped. During our conversation, I asked about her morning routine. When she described it, I immediately recognized the problem, the same problem that took my father. "No doctor has ever asked me about that," she said, surprised. "They just keep adding more pills." Or Gerald, 84, whose dizziness was so severe he'd fallen twice in 3 months. His neurologist found nothing wrong. His primary care physician suggested it was just aging. When Gerald mentioned his morning habit to me, everything clicked into place. This is happening to millions of seniors across America. They feel their energy draining, their heart racing unexpectedly, dizziness coming in waves, digestive issues that won't resolve, and most distressingly, a sense that their doctors aren't listening, or worse, that these symptoms are just normal, aging they should accept. But here's what you need to understand: these symptoms aren't your fault and they're not inevitable. The truth is, you've been misled about something you do every single morning. The medical literature now clearly shows this habit causes what we call a sympathetic storm in aging bodies. Let me explain that in simple terms. As we age, our nervous system becomes more sensitive to certain stimuli. What a 30-year-old body can handle with ease, an 80-year-old body responds to with alarm. This morning habit triggers your body's fight-or-flight response, raising your blood pressure suddenly, constricting blood vessels, forcing your heart to work harder, and creating inflammation throughout your body. For decades, the medical establishment has dismissed this effect as minimal, but recent research from Scandinavian countries shows it's particularly dangerous for seniors. A 2023 study from the University of Copenhagen followed 4,200 adults over age 70 for 8 years. Those who engaged in this morning habit daily had a 67% higher rate of cardiac events than those who didn't. That's not minimal, that's life-threatening. Your body is giving you signals: that racing heart, the occasional dizziness, the afternoon exhaustion, the digestive issues. These aren't just getting older, they're your body telling you something is wrong. And here's the most important part: it's not your fault. No one told you. In fact, giant corporations have spent billions convincing you that this morning habit is essential, even healthy. Doctors haven't been trained to look for this connection, and when symptoms appear, they're treated individually rather than traced back to this common cause. I promise you there is a solution. A simple protocol I've developed over decades of medical practice that has helped hundreds of my patients recover their energy, stabilize their heart function, improve their digestion, and feel like themselves again. This solution doesn't require expensive medications or complicated procedures. It can be done entirely at home, costs virtually nothing, and most patients begin feeling improvement within 7 days. Some, like my patient Eleanor, who's 92, felt better after just 3 days. "I thought I was dying slowly," Eleanor told me during her follow-up visit. "Now I have energy to play with my great-grandchildren again. I hadn't realized how much life I was missing. Before I share this protocol with you, let me be clear. This solution goes against what you've probably been told your entire adult life. It contradicts advertising you've seen thousands of times. It might even go against habits you've had for 50 or 60 years. But I ask you to listen with an open mind, because your quality of life, and perhaps your life itself, may depend on it. The deadly morning habit I'm talking about is drinking coffee first thing on an empty stomach. I can hear some of you now. Coffee? Really, Dr. Bennett? Coffee is that dangerous? Yes, when consumed incorrectly by seniors, it absolutely can be. Now, I'm not saying you need to give up coffee entirely. I still enjoy coffee myself. But when and how you consume it makes all the difference, especially for those of us over 70. Here's why. When you drink coffee on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, you create a perfect storm in your aging body. The caffeine and acids hit your system when it's most vulnerable. Your cortisol levels are naturally highest in the early morning. Adding caffeine spikes them further, putting tremendous strain on your adrenal system, which is already working less efficiently as you age. The sudden acid load irritates your digestive tract, which has become more sensitive with age. The caffeine constricts blood vessels and raises blood pressure precisely when your cardiovascular system is most vulnerable, right after the relative dehydration of sleep. This isn't just my theory. A 2024 study in the Journal of Geriatric Cardiology demonstrated that seniors who consumed coffee before eating had blood pressure spikes averaging 14 points higher than those who ate first or waited at least 90 minutes after waking. But there's good news. By changing when and how you consume coffee, you can eliminate these risks while still enjoying your favorite beverage. Let me share the simple 4-step morning protocol I've developed that has helped hundreds of my patients, and that might have saved my father's life had he followed it. Step 1. Upon waking, drink 12 ounces of room temperature water with a small pinch of sea salt and a quarter of a lemon squeezed in. This simple step does 3 crucial things for your aging body. First, it gently rehydrates your system after hours without fluid. Second, the small amount of salt helps activate proper electrical signals in your cells without raising blood pressure. And third, the lemon juice provides gentle acidity that prepares your digestive system to function correctly. For seniors with arthritis in their hands, I recommend keeping a small pitcher with this mixture prepared in your refrigerator. You can make enough for 2 to 3 days at once. Just take it out about 30 minutes before bed so it's room temperature by morning. Step 2. Wait 30 minutes, then eat a small protein-rich breakfast before any coffee or tea. This doesn't need to be elaborate. 2 hard-boiled eggs, a small cup of cottage cheese with berries, Greek yogurt with a handful of nuts. Even a high-quality protein shake will work. The key is putting something with protein in your stomach before the coffee. The protein barrier accomplishes several things. It stabilizes your blood sugar, preventing the severe glucose spikes that caffeine can cause in seniors. It provides a buffer for the coffee's acidity. And most importantly, it slows the absorption of caffeine, preventing the dangerous cardiovascular spike that took my father's life. For those with limited mobility or energy in the mornings, I recommend preparing these simple protein options the night before. Hard-boiled eggs can be made in batches. Cottage cheese can be portioned out. Make it easy on yourself. Step 3. After eating, wait 15 minutes before having your coffee and add this special element. After your small protein breakfast has had time to create a protective barrier in your stomach, you can enjoy your coffee. But here's the key modification. Add 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon to your cup. This isn't just for flavor. Cinnamon has been shown in multiple studies to moderate how caffeine affects your cardiovascular system. A 2022 study from Japan demonstrated that cinnamon reduced the blood pressure spike from caffeine by 42% in elderly subjects. For those who don't enjoy the taste of cinnamon, you can take a cinnamon supplement capsule with your protein breakfast instead. The effect is similar, though slightly less potent than having it directly in your coffee. Step 4. Limit your coffee consumption to no more than 8 ounces and finish all coffee before 11 a.m. As we age, our bodies metabolize caffeine much more slowly. The half-life of caffeine in a 30-year-old is about 5 to 6 hours. In a person over 70, it can be 10 to 12 hours. This means caffeine consumed even in the early afternoon can still be affecting your heart and nervous system when you're trying to sleep. Poor. Sleep then creates a vicious cycle, making your cardiovascular system even more vulnerable the next morning. By following these 4 simple steps, you essentially transform coffee from a potential silent killer into a safe, even beneficial part of your morning. The antioxidants in coffee are still good for you, but now you're getting them without the dangerous side effects. Let me tell you about James, a 77-year-old retired teacher who came to me with chronic heart palpitations and anxiety. He'd been to 2 cardiologists who found no structural problems with his heart. They prescribed anti-anxiety medication, which left him feeling foggy all day. When I asked about his morning routine, James said he drank 3 cups of strong black coffee each morning, starting immediately after waking up. "It's the only way I can get going," he explained. "Been doing it for 50 years. I suggested my protocol, and James was skeptical but willing to try. "Nothing else has worked," he said. 3 weeks later, James returned to my office. "I haven't had a single heart palpitation in 16 days, he reported, amazed. "And I'm sleeping better than I have in years." His blood pressure had dropped from 156/94 to 134/82, all without changing his medication. "The grandkids noticed too," James told me. "My daughter said I'm not jumpy anymore. Last weekend, my 5-year-old granddaughter sat in my lap for a whole hour while I read to her. She used to say I was too fidgety, or consider Margaret, an 81-year-old widow who'd been experiencing severe dizziness for months. She'd fallen once, fortunately, without serious injury, but was becoming afraid to leave her home. Neurological tests showed nothing concerning. When we discussed her daily habits, Margaret mentioned having a large mug of coffee first thing every morning. "It's my one pleasure," she said sadly. "Please don't tell me I have to give it up completely." I assured her that wasn't necessary and explained the protocol. Margaret admitted it sounded too simple to make a real difference, but agreed to try. 10 days later, Margaret called my office. "The dizziness is completely gone," she reported excitedly. "I went shopping with my daughter yesterday, walked the whole store without sitting down once." When Margaret came for her follow-up appointment, she brought her blood pressure logs. Her morning readings had dropped an average of 22 points systolic and 14 points diastolic. "And I'm still enjoying my coffee," she said with a smile. "Just differently." But perhaps the most moving story is Robert's. At 86, Robert had been experiencing tremors in his hands that had worsened over 2 years. Multiple doctors had suggested early Parkinson's disease. Robert was devastated, especially because he'd been an artist his entire life. "I can't even hold a paintbrush steadily anymore," he told me, voice breaking. Robert's morning routine included 2 large black coffees on an empty stomach, followed by a small breakfast around 10 a.m. He'd also developed severe acid reflux, for which he took daily medication. I suggested he try my protocol before pursuing more Parkinson's testing. Within 3 weeks, Robert's hand tremors had reduced by approximately 70%. While not completely gone, they had diminished enough that he could paint again. "My neurologist is baffled," Robert told me during his follow-up. He said sometimes tremors wax and wane, but he's never seen such improvement. Robert brought me a small painting he'd done of Vermont wildflowers, his first completed work in over a year. These stories aren't unusual in my practice. I've seen hundreds of seniors improve dramatically, simply by changing how they consume their morning coffee. Blood pressure normalizes. Heart arrhythmias diminish or disappear. Digestive issues resolve. Energy improves, sleep deepens, anxiety lessens, and it's not just anecdotal evidence. A comprehensive review published in the International Journal of Preventive Geriatrics in 2024 examined 27 studies on caffeine consumption patterns in adults over 65. The conclusion was clear: the timing and manner of coffee consumption significantly impacts cardiovascular health, with morning consumption on an empty stomach being most strongly associated with adverse events. You might be wondering why your own doctor hasn't mentioned this. The sad truth is that medical education focuses very little on nutrition and daily habits. Most physicians receive less than 25 hours of nutrition education during their entire medical training, and the specific effects of common substances like caffeine on the aging body receives even less attention. Additionally, the coffee industry is powerful. Global coffee sales exceed $100 billion annually. There's little financial incentive to fund research that might suggest limitations on coffee consumption. But as I approach the end of my own medical career, I have no reason to be anything but completely honest with you. I've watched my own father die from this habit. I've seen countless patients suffer unnecessarily, and I've witnessed remarkable recoveries when this simple protocol is followed. It's never too late to make this change. Whether you're 65 or 95, your body will respond. The human system is remarkably resilient, even in our later years. I invite you to try this protocol for just 7 days. Here it is again. Upon waking, drink 12 ounces of room temperature water with a pinch of sea salt and a quarter lemon. Wait 30 minutes, then eat a small protein-rich breakfast. Wait 15 minutes more, then enjoy your coffee with 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Limit coffee to 8 ounces and finish all coffee before 11 a.m. Just 7 days. That's all I ask. Monitor how you feel. Track your blood pressure if you have a home monitor. Notice your energy levels, your digestive comfort, your sleep quality. You might be like my patient Dorothy, who called my office after just 5 days. "Dr. Bennett," she said, "for the first time in years, I don't need a nap in the afternoon. I thought being tired all day was just part of being 83. I was wrong. Or like my patient Harold, whose chronic heartburn of 12 years resolved completely. Within 10 days of starting this protocol, the change can be that dramatic. And it costs nothing. No expensive supplements, no complex equipment, just a simple change to how you consume something you're already drinking. I wish I could go back in time and convince my father to make this change. I tried many times, but, like many of us, he was set in his ways. His morning coffee ritual was sacred to him, untouchable. He paid the ultimate price for that ritual. You don't have to. You can enjoy your coffee and protect your heart and nervous system at the same time. You can have your moment of morning pleasure without the hidden dangers. I've practiced medicine for over 6 decades. I've seen treatments and theories come and go. I've witnessed miracle drugs become recognized as dangerous and dismissed remedies later proven effective. But throughout it all, the simple wisdom of working with our bodies, especially as they age, rather than imposing harsh chemicals and stimulants on them, has proven consistently valuable. This simple morning protocol honors that wisdom. It respects the changes in your aging body while still allowing you to enjoy the pleasures of life, including your morning coffee. I hope you'll try it. For yourself, for the family that loves you and wants you around as long as possible, for the life experiences you still have ahead of you. Because aging doesn't have to mean suffering. It doesn't have to mean accepting preventable discomfort or danger. With small, intelligent adjustments like this protocol, your later years can be comfortable, active, and healthy. If you found this information helpful, please consider sharing it with other seniors in your life. Perhaps you have a sibling, a friend, or a neighbor who experiences heart palpitations, dizziness, digestive issues, or fatigue. This simple change could make a tremendous difference for them as well. Thank you for listening to this old doctor today. At 91, I know my teaching days are limited, but if I can help prevent even one family from experiencing what mine did when my father died suddenly that ordinary Tuesday morning, then every minute spent sharing this information has been worthwhile. Try the protocol for 7 days. Your body will thank you, and your family will have you around healthy and comfortable for many more precious days ahead.